Mark McGwire is back in the lineup tonight as the Cardinals battle for a wild card spot. Phil Nevin and the scrappy Padres would love to be the spoilers. The Padres and the Cardinals on Labor Day evening in San Diego, and St. Louis may have played its way out of a divisional title chance the last 2 weeks, losing 3 of their last 4 series. But the Cardinals are still in the wild card race, 3.5 back of the Cubs, who won today, and the Padres are borderline wild card teams as they got over the 500 mark with a wonderful 13-inning win against Randy Johnson and the Diamondbacks here yesterday. Bob Carpenter, Rick Sutcliffe, and Rick, what about the Cardinals? Will Mark McGwire back in the lineup help out Jim Edmonds and Pujols and give this club the spark it needs?
Well, they need a spark, particularly in close ball games. There's 7 games under 500 in 1-run decision. Somebody gets a big hit, somebody does something. It's not just a coincidence. There's 7 games out in the National League Central. Big Mac has tried to do it, but he's been on one leg all year. The key to the month of September for the Cardinals is Jim Edmonds. He's having a solid year, but he needs to have an MVP type September.
And of course, you saw the numbers of Mark McGwire at Qualcomm Stadium. On the road, the Cardinals need all the help they can get. They are 10 under 500 away from Busch Stadium. These Padres, a battling bunch down the stretch. Ryan Klesko has been awesome lately with that home run bat of his.
Yeah, they were incredible yesterday as well, winning 1-0 in 13 innings. They won 3 out of 4 from the first base Arizona Diamondbacks. That included a series in which they had to face Kurt Schilling and yesterday the big unit. Klesko with that bomb yesterday sent the Padre fans home happy. Klesko and Nevin are both all-stars. We know about them. But the job Bruce Bochy, their manager, has done this year has been incredible. Maybe the most motivated team in the game right now.
And sometimes we forget, since '96, this franchise has won 2 divisional titles. They'll have plenty to say. Maybe McGwire will as well back in the lineup tonight. And Klesko swinging a hot bat for San Diego. Gorgeous night at Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego, where the Padres are 5 games under the 500 mark on the year. And as mentioned, the Cardinals have had some big-time struggles on the road. 2 weeks ago, Tony La Russa's team came into a Monday night with an 11-game winning streak. But a crazy game in Cincinnati led to losing 3 out of 4, and the Cardinals have been struggling ever since. Their Chevy lineup tonight has Fernando Vina at the top. They've got some good table setters, Rick, and then some very potent bats in the middle of that lineup when they're all clicking together.
Really a tough lineup to get through. The key is to keep the first and second guys off base, but that's easier said than done. J.D. Drew, tremendous in his last outing against tonight's starting pitcher for San Diego. Bobby Jones, career, he's 3 for 5. He's got 2 home runs. You know, other teams made deals at the trading deadline to get better. All St. Louis wanted to do was get J.D. Drew back.
They got him back. His production has been outstanding. Not so for Bobby Jones. He's given up a lot of unearned runs, and in close ball games, Rick, his defense has betrayed him numerous times this year.
Well, the defense has let him down. The offense has let him down as well, not providing support. But this San Diego Padre team, if they catch the baseball, they don't beat themselves defensively, they are a good team.
Worst defense in baseball with 125 errors, the most of any team in the major leagues.
But that bad defense does not start at home with Ben Davis behind the plate. Just 24 years of age. Through the month of August, he had caught in more games than any other catcher in the major leagues. He has put his heart and soul into developing defensively. He's part of the rotation first, part of the lineup second.
And even played first base yesterday for the first time.
Well, the biggest reason for that is because Bruce Bochy has seen what has happened with Mike Piazza in the past. Now, they're not comparing Ben Davis to Piazza, but they think he's going to be an all-star type player. Bochy saying yesterday he thought Piazza cost himself a couple of MVPs by having a fatigue factor late in the year.
Digging in, feisty little leadoff man Fernando Vina. On the grass at third is Phil Nevin. Ryan Klesko the same at first. Opponents respect the bunting ability and the speed of Vina. Bobby Jones ready, outside target for the game's first pitch, and it's fouled off that way.
Bob, you mentioned 23 unearned runs have scored with Bobby Jones on the mound. 5 of those in his last start, which was against these Cardinals. Jones just lasting an inning and 2/3, allowing 9 runs overall.
Vigna shoots one off to the left side again. This little guy is up among the league leaders in hits. Only Luis Gonzalez and Rich Aurelia come into this Labor Day with more base hits than Vigna's 167. His rookie teammate Albert Pujols right behind him. And he's had a batting average of right around the 300 to 305 mark all year. Bobby Jones ready for the 0-2. Breaking ball jammed him, and the ball hit near home plate, going foul.
Vigna's not really your conventional type leadoff hitter, is he? You say, what in the world is he doing swinging at the first 3 pitches? Isn't he supposed to work the count, get deep into the count, make the starting pitcher throw several pitches? That's just not Vigna's style. He's going to have very few walks. He doesn't have many stolen bases. Seeing the fewest pitches of anybody in the National League per at bat as a leadoff hitter. But what he does do is, as you say, he gets a lot of hits. He'll take one for the team as far as being hit by a pitch. Doesn't strike out very often.
Yeah, only 29 times in 545 at bats. So he makes contact or walks about 95% of the time. The 0-2 to Vigna. And the fastball is up and away. Ricky getting loose out in left field for one of his leadoff appearances shortly.
Amazing yesterday. He walked in his first 2 at bats against Randy Johnson. 19 pitches in those 2 at bats.
Vigna lofts one out of play to the right side.
Eventually, manager Bob Brenly had to take the big unit out in the 8th inning. Well, it wasn't until the 13th inning that San Diego could get anything on the board offensively, but it makes it much easier without the big unit on the hill.
Padres with that win yesterday, their 3rd consecutive. Ryan Klesko, the walk-off homer. He's now hit 28. And another one to Vigna just outside with a fastball. Bobby Jones barely missing. And a good look at that one from dead center.
As a veteran, Bobby Jones trying to find out if he can expand the zone with the young Phil Cousy behind home plate.
Backdoor breaking ball. And Vigna literally throwing his bat at the ball. That's Dave McKay, the Cardinals' first base coach. He's a former catcher, one of a couple on La Russa's staff. Dave Duncan the other.
Like I told you, he very seldom works the count. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat, but anything close, Fernando's going to take a swing at.
This kid is a walking bruise. This is pitch number 8. At least it will be after Vigna gets back in there. He fouled a ball off his leg above his knee the other day in L.A. He ran into J.D. Drew in a collision last week. He is really beat up. And he gets one out to right center. A slow break for Trammell. And Vigna hobbles down to first base with a leadoff hit. How about that at bat?
That's a typical Fernando Vigna AB. He's going to battle you with everything he possibly has. Bobby Jones wanting to get that fastball inside, but he let it leak back across the heart of the plate. It's so difficult to come in on Vigna because, as you said, he'll just throw his elbow out there on a pitch that might be a borderline strike, let it hit him, and do what he's done now, which is get St. Louis's offense going.
Well, Vigna has been hit 19 times this year. He's at first base for Polanco, and this little guy has become a big story for the Cardinals.
He wasn't a bad story last year when he hit well over 300. He just didn't have the playing time that Tony La Russa has given him this year.
And going into the playoffs last year, when Fernando Tatis was in a big time slump, it was Polanco who got the bulk of the playing time at third base against the Braves and the Mets. Vigna started, then stopped, and Polanco, who's in a 4-for-25 slump, pops it up, and it's caught by Phil Nevin. Polanco, a guy who hits the ball on the ground and lines it a lot, but he's been popping up lately, and that's the first out for Bobby Jones. So after Polanco, the potent bat of a not quite 100% healthy, but getting better, J.D. Drew.
It's scary to think about how much better he has gotten from just last year to this year. Drew last year was kind of a one-dimensional type player. I mean, as far as offense was concerned, he wanted to pull the ball, hit it out of the park. He uses the whole field now.
Off-speed pitch low.
That's why his average is so much higher at 332 coming into tonight's game, because he's hitting that fastball away to the opposite field, which gives him a better look at the off-speed pitch, which he was able to lay off on that first one.
Great success against Bobby Jones in his career early for Drew. 3 hits, 5 at bats, 2 homers, and an off-speed pitch has him out in front.
He's also gotten a lot smarter this year. That 1-0 count, that's a hitter's count. Take a swing like that. All right, if he fooled you, you've got to make an adjustment on the 1-1 pitch. But you'll see how aggressive J.D. Drew is on a 1-0, 2-0, 3-1 pitch.
Bobby Jones 8-16 on the year, his 29th start. Vina has him preoccupied at first base. Lesko holding there, and a lot of hitting room for Drew. The 1-1, and with that in mind, he throws one away. Ball 2 outside.
Vina's not really a burner at first base as far as the stolen base is concerned. If Bobby Jones just makes him stop, don't let him get a big running jump. He knows with Ben Davis's arm behind the plate, Vina will have a lot of trouble.
And I think you folks can tell by looking at this field, preseason football has already taken its toll on Qualcomm Stadium. Outfield is very patchy and beat up. Runner started, then stopped. Drew pops it up, and this ball will drift out of play into the stands on the left side.
You're just trying to get the attention of Bobby Jones, because what happens there when he takes off, Ryan Klesko's job with a left-handed hitter in the box particularly is to say, there he goes, because Ben Davis's view is blocked. He can't see that first step of Vina. When he screams, there he goes, it's right in the middle of Bobby Jones's delivery.
2-2 to Drew now. The rookie Pujols on deck, and Vina back easily. Fernando has stolen 15 bases in 20 attempts this year. First base umpire Mark Barron over there. Bruce Fremming, the crew chiefs, at second, and Jerry Meals at third. Here's the 2-2, and Drew called out on a pitch that he thought was inside. That's the second out here in the first, and let's check in with Dave Revson.
All right, guys, Sports Center in game. We head to Chicago. White Sox and Indy in Chicago. 7.5 back coming in. Sox up 3-2 in the 6th. Not for long. Ellis Burks taking care of that. 3-run shot is 24th. It's 5-3 Tribe as they head to the 8th, guys.
Well, the White Sox hoping to just make a lot of noise in that series, starting 7.5 back, only 2 games behind Minnesota. It's still mathematically alive for the White Sox, but they've got to beat Cleveland every time they get together in September. Here's the rookie of the year. The Cardinals feel Albert Pujols. Time asked and given by the umpire. Albert Pujols with a batting average 6th best in the league. He's in the top 10 in RBIs. He's just out of the top 10 with his 31 home runs. And his 10-game hitting streak is his 3rd double-digit hitting streak of the year. Big, slow curve, strike 1.
Bobby Jones has got a good overhand curveball. He's got one even better than that. He took a little bit off velocity-wise on that pitch just so he could locate it. He's got a bigger breaker that he will go to for the strikeout.
Inside target. Pujols checks one to left field, and this ball is way out of here. Number 32 for the rookie. RBIs 105, 106. And St. Louis blasting out on top here in the first inning.
It almost looked like Albert Pujols was sitting on that fastball in. He didn't care about that first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Might not have cared about it on the second pitch. Bobby Jones has to be wishing he would have gone to that. Take a look at the location. That's right where Bobby Jones wanted it. It's right where Ben Davis was sitting, and it was also where Albert Pujols again was looking.
An amazing season continues for this kid. And the Cardinals on top 2-0. As a club, they're 7th in the league in homers. And that's with Mark McGwire unavailable for a good part of this season. Jim Edmonds is on a 6-game tear. 11 for his last 22 as he takes ball 1. Edmonds wore out the Padres during that 3-game series in St. Louis last week. It's an interesting Cardinal lineup with McGwire batting 6 behind Edmonds. Now the count goes to 3-0, and Big Mac may make an appearance here in the first inning.
He's already made an appearance to the fans here in San Diego. Most of them showing up to watch him in batting practice.
And he put on a great show, didn't he? Big Mac, Qualcomm Stadium, one of his favorite visiting parks to hit in his time in the National League since '97. The 3-1 to Edmonds is fouled out of play.
A lot of people out there in left field that have season tickets in that second deck that don't even think about taking a souvenir home. Every now and then Phil Nevin will reach those seats in batting practice. Big Mac did it consistently.
That's one McGwire hit here a couple of years ago, way off the line, out in left center, and Edmonds walks and McGwire will bat. This is Mark McGwire's first time in the lineup in well over a week. A bad hamstring has had him on the shelf. And of course he thinks that's because he was favoring that knee that's been bothering him since off-season surgery last year. Rick Sutcliffe, that's the heaviest 192 in baseball right there. 576 home runs. Cameras and binoculars at the ready. McGwire, a high fly ball, deep left field. Where's this thing coming down? Into the glove of Ricky Henderson. It was as high as it was far, seemingly, on a lower drive by Pujols. St. Louis. Only the Colorado Rockies and the Houston Astros have scored more runs in the National League than the San Diego Padres have this year. They're nearing 700. The Chevys lineup starts with one of the great leadoff men ever in the game of baseball, the versatile Ricky Henderson, and then Klesko doing a big-time job in that number 3 hole.
Yeah, but the guy Bruce Bochy chose to hit in the cleanup spot is Phil Nevin. The last 2 years he's been the Padres team MVP. Most people in San Diego think that he's going to be at least in the top 10 as far as the National League MVP is concerned this year. 33 homers, hit over 300 all year long, and now has over 100 RBIs.
For the Cardinals against Nevin, Klesko, and that hard-hitting lineup, rookie Bud Smith. It'll be his 11th major league start. This guy was a huge winner in the minor leagues, and earlier this summer pitched in the AAA All-Star game here on ESPN. He'll face Ricky with a batting average of only .217 and a first pitch fastball in there. But as usual, Henderson's on base average very high at .362.
And he still draws those base on balls.
But Smith has him locked up. Nobody's going to catch Ricky Henderson. Brady Anderson with 44. His next one will be his 80th game leading off home run.
It's Ricky that's the one trying to catch people. It would be Ty Cobb now, and run scored.
Fastball. Ricky knew it, and Bud Smith strikes him out looking.
Bud Smith was talking before tonight's game about how he has faced Ricky Henderson before. He faced him earlier this year in AAA. He said he was able to strike Ricky out one time. Ricky also hit a double. And he said it was so funny because here's a no question Hall of Famer, as Bud said, talking to me as a kid. When he struck him out, as he went off, Ricky goes, "Hey, you got me, kid." And Ricky's like, Bud was going, he's talking to me. And then when Ricky hit the double, he said, "I got you that time, kid."
Here's D'Angelo Jimenez, the shortstop. Now, are you sure Ricky said you got me, or did he say you got Ricky?
Oh,
because he often speaks of himself in the third person.
Well, Bud said one thing he did was he got Ricky called up to the big leagues the following day. That tells you how much playing the game of baseball, how important it is to Ricky Henderson that he would go down there to try to get back.
A 2-0 pitch fly deep to right center. Edmonds is cruising for it, and Jim Edmonds puts it away for the second out. Ryan Klesko, after a dramatic moment here yesterday, will bat in the bottom of the first.
What a different story it's been for him here in San Diego as opposed to Atlanta. In Atlanta, they platooned him. They said he couldn't hit left-handed pitching. Well, in the 10th inning, Bruce Bochy sent him up there to pinch hit against a left-handed pitcher. It didn't work out then, but it did work out in the 13th when he sent the Padres fans home happy.
28 homers, 108 runs batted in, and the rookie lefty has a strike. The Atlanta Braves are hitting .260 as a club, not very high in home runs. I think they'd kind of like to have this bat in their lineup right now, wouldn't they?
No question.
The 0-1, it's a little bit outside.
Tell you how far he's come against left-handed pitching. Bud Smith saying the one guy that he did not want to let beat him tonight was the left-handed hitting Klesko.
Well, that may be that 3 for 3 against Bud last week, huh?
With a home run.
That ball right off the end of the bat, and the count goes to 1-2.
Klesko's not the only left-hander, though, that Bud Smith has had trouble with. Overall, left-handers hitting .362 against a 21-year-old.
And we've heard that in the past about Tom Glavine as well. The right-handers don't like that changeup. There's a little squib at a third. Backhand play, Polanco. He guns out Klesko by a step. The versatile Polanco at third base tonight. A 1-2-3 first for the rookie Bud Smith. Pujols, the rookie, the homer, the difference. Well, somebody put McGuire's helmet upside down. Maybe that'll change Big Mac's luck next time, as he almost got one out of here. The player you saw briefly in the background is Woody Williams, the ex-Padre. And here we go, top of the second, slow curve to Renteria. Edgar takes a strike. And here's a guy who's really come on in the second half of the season. His batting average was down around .230 into August. And another breaking ball low and away. A lot of junk so far from Bobby Jones. And a chopper to third will be just outside the line foul.
A lot of people think the reason Edgar Renteria settled down was because the trading deadline had passed. You know, it always bothers somebody when the possibility of you moving to another team exists. You've got family, you've got friends to be concerned with, and it's even more difficult for a young guy like Edgar Renteria to handle that.
Dave Duncan alongside Tony La Russa.
As always.
And the 1-2 hit pretty well to right, but right there for it is Bubba Tremmel. Edgar Renteria in the last week of July was batting .235. He's been flirting with .260 or so lately. He's the first out in the top of the second. And next up will be the young catcher Eli Marrero. Marrero, 2 years removed from thyroid cancer. It really sapped his strength. He's now back healthy.
There's a lot of tools in that young man's body. Power's there. Arm strength is there. Speed, incredible speed for a catcher. Could develop into one of the best, but at 27 years of age, Tony La Russa wants to start seeing those statistics pop up.
There's a drive right at Phil Nevin. Marrero couldn't have hit the ball any harder. And Nevin right there to stab it at the hot corner for the second out, and Bud Smith, the pitcher, will be the batter.
This is one thing that you can never get to show up in the box score. That's a rocket. It should have gone as a hit. Fernando Vina got a hit earlier in the top of the first inning on a bloop that probably shouldn't have been.
There's Bud Smith with a one-hopper out to short. Backhand by Jimenez, and the Cardinals go quickly in the top of the second. Phil Nevin will be the Padre leadoff man in the bottom of the second. We've got some serious power coming up next. The intensity of Tony La Russa. His defense has been an often changing one this year. And Mr. Pujols has played first, third, right field, and left, like he is tonight.
And it's really given Tony La Russa some flexibility as far as his lineup is concerned. Get certain bats in there against certain pitchers, guys that have good numbers, because of the versatility of his youngster.
He's made 20 errors this year, but he's made a lot of good plays at different positions where he's been stationed. And a fastball up and into Phil Nevin gets the bottom of the second underway. Nevin, a former #1 draft choice who bounced around a bit. The Astros, the team that originally drafted him out of Cal State Fullerton in '92, to the Tigers 3 years later after Houston gave up on him. A stop at Anaheim and a shot out to short. Renteria got the glove down and scooped it up. And 4 straight for Bud Smith to start off the game. Next up will be Bubba Trammell.
That's really been the strength of this ball club. It has been put together by trades made by that man there, Kevin Towers, getting Phil Nevin from the Angels for Andy Sheets, picking up Bubba Trammell, who's in the box now, for Donnie Wall, Ryan Klesko for Kilvio Veras. Just look at the lineup that's out there in place right now, and it is, with the exception of Ben Davis, not been through the draft. It's been through trades.
Bud Smith ahead of Bubba Trammell, who's 0 for his last 9. Klesko retired at the bottom of the first. The 1-1 from Bud Smith, and he fools the right-hander. He's got great deception for a young pitcher.
Well, it's that circle change that Glavine and Maddox and a lot of the others have had a lot of success with.
Now the 1-2 delivery to Bubba, and he got jammed, and that ball evidently hit his bat. Maybe right down on the knob.
Well, that's the one thing Bud Smith did not do in the last start, is to knock the hitters off home plate. Look at that. I mean, Bubba Trammell's got his nose on the outside corner, trying to go out there to protect against chasing that changeup. That's a nice adjustment by the youngster on the mound.
Then he goes away and gets the little ground ball. Renteria there. Guns out Trammell. 5 in a row for Bud Smith. We've got the Athletics and the Baltimore Orioles at 10 o'clock Eastern over on ESPN2 tonight. Some of you will get Tampa Bay at Seattle. Jason Giambi is having another monster season for the Oakland Athletics. 32 home runs, 101 RBIs. And how about Oakland? This is amazing to me, Rick. They are 18 games out of first place and 8 games ahead in the wild card race. That, more than anything, points out the dominance of the Seattle Mariners this year. There's a breaking ball for a strike to Ray Lankford, the former Cardinal, who's hitting .299 in 3 weeks as a Padre. Those are his overall numbers. 3 home runs, 13 batted in as a San Diego player. And the man he was traded for, Woody Williams, has given the Cardinals a nice lift in their rotation. On the mound, he's 3-1 in 6 starts for St. Louis.
It wasn't that the Padres did not want to keep Woody Williams, but they wanted to get some of their young starting pitchers an opportunity to work. And with Woody there, that was not going to happen. Guys like Brian Lawrence, who pitched 8 shutout innings yesterday against the big unit. I mean, that was almost like David and Goliath yesterday.
Right.
The unit's out there striking people out right and left. The Padres with only 4 hits in 13 innings, 19 strikeouts. Brian Lawrence just continued to get ground balls and go head to head.
And speaking of K's, that's the one thing that really soured the Cardinals on Ray Lankford. He strikes out more often than every 3 at-bats. And most of this season, he struck out 40% of the time when he was at the plate. There's that high strike they're calling this year, and why not? A 3-2 pitch now coming. And a fastball that misses just off the plate inside. So the Padres have their first base runner. A 2-out walk for Ray Lankford here in the second. That'll bring up their young catcher, Ben Davis.
Maybe starting to show some signs of fatigue. He hit under 200 in the month of August, but This man has made some remarkable strides as far as an everyday player is concerned. Bruce Bochy really happy with his catching situation. Wiki Gonzalez considered one of the better backups in all of baseball.
Ben Davis from the right side at 245. Langford a short lead in the pitch outside. There were some unconfirmed reports that before Ray Langford departed St. Louis that he and Mark McGwire got into a clubhouse scuffle, at least a verbal shouting match, and both players denied that that ever took place. They said that was a total fabrication. There's a high strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Ray Langford, for the most part, was a guy in the Cardinal clubhouse who really didn't have a whole lot to say. The folks in the St. Louis area really like him. He and his wife Yolanda were two of the trendsetters in St. Louis as far as ball players and their families raising money for different charitable causes. And hats off to them for that.
Ray wanted me to wish his daughter Raquel a happy 7th birthday, knowing that they're at home in St. Louis watching. Ray said he has no regrets whatsoever about what happened in St. Louis. He's not bitter. It just became time for him to move on, and he's happy where he moved on to here in San Diego.
The 1-2 pitch on the corner. And Bud Smith strikes out Ben Davis. His second K. He's given up only a walk through 2. Top of the order for the Cardinals, who lead 2-0. ESPN holiday baseball from San Diego. Bottom of the 3rd. St. Louis on top, 2-0. Damian Jackson, the number 8 hitter for the Padres. Their second baseman leads off. There's a guy who's done some leading off in his career. And respecting his speed, Polanco is on the grass at 3rd. Padres without a hit. They've had one base runner, a 2-out walk by Ray Langford last inning. Bud Smith changing speeds, getting ahead. Bobby Jones, the pitcher, on deck.
A lot of changes for Tony La Russa's ball club, particularly the pitching staff from the team that won 95 games last year. The only constant for him has been Darryl Kyle. Last year he had Rick Ankiel, Pat Hinkin, Andy Bennis, and Garrett Stevenson. Now the other 4 start with Bud Smith, Woody Williams, Dustin Hermanson.
And a guy who will be flirting with 20 very quickly, Matt Morris. He has really been something for St. Louis this year.
At the All-Star game in Seattle, everybody in the National League talking about his potential, his demeanor. There's a look at the youngster.
Young man out of Seton Hall. Change up for the strikeout. Damian Jackson way out ahead of it. Number 3 for Bud Smith. And he'll face his opponent, Bobby Jones.
Well, it's the same thing that he's been doing the first 3 innings. The off-speed pitch away, set up by the good fastball on the inner half of the plate. One thing that Cardinals would like to see more of out of Bud Smith is command of his breaking ball. A little get-over breaking ball to begin with, and then that sharper curveball to finish certain hitters off with, particularly left-handers.
Bobby Jones fouls one back. He's had 7 base hits this year.
Not going to happen here tonight with a 2-run homer by Albert Pujols, but how about 4 games yesterday?
1-0.
First time in Major League history.
Wasn't that something? There's a little flare out to right, but J.D. Drew, who was playing shallow, right there to grab it. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. A doubleheader on Wednesday night baseball. Padres here. And in that game, the expected pitching matchup in San Francisco, Curt Schilling 19-6, Russ Ortiz, who is 14-8. 2 outs, bases empty. Ricky Henderson stepping in. 18 hits away from 3,000. 11 steals away from 1,400. And as Rick mentioned earlier, chasing the all-time Ty Cobb run scoring mark. Pretty good command by Bud Smith in this one so far. After falling behind 1-0, a fastball up and away. Ricky only 12 runs away from Ty Cobb's all-time mark. And a month to do it. The 2-0. A big swing and a foul.
Just incredible to think about the names of the people Ricky Henderson has passed this year in runs scored. The names of the players that Tony Gwynn has passed the last couple of years in hits. And as always, the guys Big Mac has passed and are after in the home run.
Well, Mark McGwire's next stop will be Frank Robinson. McGwire 576, Robinson 586, and McGwire has done that. This is really amazing. In about 4,000 less at bats. Now that is incredible. Low and away, and the count to Ricky Henderson goes full 3-2. And speaking of history, Tony Gwynn. And it's a shame Ricky can't play hardly at all now. The best pinch hitter ever, are we looking at?
Best pinch hitter right now, I'll promise you that. Bruce Bochy begging him to come back and play next year just in that role.
Henderson walks, number 2,131. He's aboard with 2 outs for D'Angelo Jimenez.
Not only did he walk at being Ricky Henderson in his first 2 at-bats yesterday, but he was able to steal second base in both of those at-bats. The legs for Ricky still working. 19 stolen bases on the year. One more, obviously his 20th. That would be the 23rd straight year with at least that many.
No, you can reserve a couple of plaques in Cooperstown for those guys. Ricky going, don't even throw it, Marrero. Totally stole that on the pitcher. And then on top of that, it was an off-speed breaking ball. And that's number 1,390.
He just, even now, after 23 years at the big league level, finds a way to touch home plate and help his team win ball games.
The 0-1. Crowd's getting excited for the first time. Now I know what he was saying to McGwire, Ricky. Rick, he said, hey, Mac, I'll see you later.
I'm not going to be around long, Big Mac. If you got something to tell me, say it quick.
And then he saw Vina not even taking a throw, so he went in standing up. 1-1, changeup outside. And everybody in this ballpark, with the exception of the guys in Cardinal red and gray, want to see a base hit here and get Ricky 1 run scored closer to Ty Cobb. Bud Smith challenging his man Jimenez with a fastball and missing 3-1.
Jimenez was one of the Yankees' top prospects back in 1999. Padres acquired him for Jay Watasek earlier this year, but a horrible car accident. Car that Jimenez was in collided with a bus in the Dominican Republic.
There's a shot. Renteria catches it. And Ricky won't score this time. Mark McGwire, his ex-teammate, will lead off in the top of the 4th. St. Louis on top, 2-0. ESPN Major League Baseball, Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego. Gorgeous early September, Southern California night. And a guy who's hit a couple into the night lately, Ryan Klesko, leads off. Phil Nevin to follow. Padres without a hit. They've had a couple of walks, 2 runners stranded. Klesko stepping in batting, 3-0-1. And the Bud Smith breaking ball just stays inside. There's the fastball. Now Bud Smith can be sneaky fast because of his good changeup. Outfield will play this big guy to pull. He goes the other way. Cardinals have one outfielder who doesn't play very deep, and that's Jim Edmonds. Nobody could catch this one yesterday off Byung-Hyun Kim.
Well, Ryan Klesko thought he was going to have the day off with the big unit on the mound. Most left-handed hitters do find themselves on the bench, but When the big unit came out, Klesko came in and was a hero for San Diego.
Yeah, Klesko said to his manager, Bruce Bochy, I thought I was going to get the day off. And Boch said, if you'd have hit one in the 10th inning, you wouldn't have had to play in the field. As it turned out, it took 3 more innings, and the Padres got an emotional win over the Diamondbacks. And a bouncer foul outside first.
This is the first year for Ryan Klesko that he's ever driven in over 100 runs. He would have done it last year at 92 RBIs for San Diego, but he had a shoulder injury that kept him from lifting the second half of the year, and he lost a lot of that strength.
2-2 the count. Klesko leads off bottom of the 4th, and he hits one high in the air out to center. Jim Edmonds under it, still battling that twilight here, and he finds it. Edmonds, a Southern California boy, he knows all about these conditions out here, and he plays as shallow as any center fielder in baseball.
Well, that's not a bad thing to do here in San Diego, where at night the ball just does not carry well.
Klesko frustrated, thought he had something from Bud Smith to work with, and after going 3 for 3 against Bud last week, he's 0 for 2 tonight. Here's Nevin, who bounced out to short first time up, and the backdoor breaking ball stays outside. Phil Nevin, 82 home runs into this season. He's added 33. Near the line, J.D. Drew for this one. 2 down. And Bud Smith neutralizes a couple of big power hitters. Bud from Torrance right up the road. Cardinals took him in the draft 3 years ago. And he was generally considered as a prospect behind both Rick Ankiel and Chad Hutchinson, a former Stanford quarterback who has really struggled with his control at the AAA level. Now Bud Smith, the brightest Cardinal young pitcher in the organization.
Yeah, he changed a lot of people's mind last year when he was their minor league pitcher of the year. A combined 17-2 in AA and AAA. 2 7-inning no-hitters.
He was 12-1 at AA Arkansas with a 2.32 ERA. Then he goes to Memphis and he's 5-1 with a 2.15. The 0-1 to Trammell. Fastball on the corner, and that strike zone getting a little bigger as the night goes on because the youngster has been so good. And we've seen that for years from a guy like Tom Glavine, Rick.
They do remind you a lot of each other. Not the command yet for Bud Smith. Glavine didn't have the type of command he has now. Tommy with his first complete game shutout of the year earlier today on ESPN
at Montreal. 2 1-0 games in each league yesterday, as Rick alluded to. There's a swing and a miss, and Bud Smith has his 4th strikeout. No hits for the Padres through 4. Top of the order for St. Louis coming up. Lead now 3 as the Padres, still without a hit, come up in the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll take a closer look at that crazy play in a moment. Rick's got some interesting thoughts on it. And a swing and a miss to the ex-Cardinal Ray Lankford, who walked first time up.
Same situation for the Padres here. They were in yesterday when they did not get a hit off the big unit until Phil Nevin's single with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
Perfect pitch almost. Smith just missing the corner, and the count's 1-1. He struck out 4, walked 2. No runs, no hits. Changeup, well hit, left center, chasing at Pujols near the track, and that's the longest Padre hit of the night.
Here's what cost San Diego that 3rd run by their young shortstop. It's a slow curveball. You can see it coming. Look how slow it takes to get there. You know Polanco was off and running. Now as a shortstop, you've got to come get that throw. You almost have to pretend like you're a first baseman, knowing the guy's going to beat the throw, coming off the bag to save your infielder an error. Come get the throw now. Come get it. See him right in the baseline? That's not far enough in front. And that's something that you know with the outstanding infield instructors the Padres have. Alan Trammell at first base, Rob Piccolo, Tim Flannery. They will talk to the youngster about, and they will keep that from happening again. There's Rob Piccolo.
Trammell, of course, coaches first. Flannery coaches third. Bud Smith to Ben Davis, a strike one count. And he goes with a fastball and gets him 0-2. And he goes low and away to the right-handed batter like he often does. Went ahead.
Because that changeup is so good, it's almost like he throws as hard as the big unit.
And a ground ball to short. Renteria plays it for the backhand side. On target to McGuire. And Bud Smith is almost now through 5.
You got to like this if you're Dave Duncan, seeing a youngster who got pounded in his last start just 5 days ago against this same team, being able to make some adjustments, not being intimidated. You can look into the eyes of Bud Smith and tell that he feels like he's going to win every time out.
Dave Duncan got a lot of credit by Tony La Russa for something he did a few days ago with the ex-Padre Woody Williams. More on that in a minute. Damian Jackson, the batter, 2 outs, bases empty. Friday night in Los Angeles, Woody Williams threw a complete game. A 4-hitter beating the Dodgers 5-1. Prior to that game, Woody got a suggestion from Dave Duncan. They added a little slider to his repertoire. He got the first 3 outs of the game with that pitch and dominated the Dodgers the rest of the way.
Duncan's kind of had a history of rejuvenating veterans' careers.
Dave Stewart,
Bob Welch, Rick Honeycutt, Dennis Eckersley.
1-1 pitch out of play to the right. And of course the Cardinals have done a nice job of bringing Matt Morris along. There's the Bud Smith nearly perfect line so far. Matt Morris had Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. Cardinals didn't throw him onto the mound to start last year, Rick. They worked him steadily in from the bullpen, and the Braves have used that model a bit with the resurgence of John Smoltz. And look at that pitch by Bud Smith. 5 strikeouts, 3-0 St. Louis. Edmonds, then McGuire when the Cardinals bat next. Top of the 6th inning. Beautiful night in San Diego. Cardinals 3, Padres without a hit, nothing. Edmonds, McGuire, and Renteria for St. Louis against Bobby Jones in the top of the 6th inning. Jim Edmonds, a fly ball to center after his walk in the first. There's a line drive caught by Damian Jackson. With that pitch by Bobby Jones, everything seems to happen in slow motion after that big off-speed curve.
It was in slow motion until it hit the bat of Jim Edmonds. Look at the elevation by the Padres second baseman Damian Jackson. Has played shortstop for the Padres, can play in the outfield. A lot of versatility for Bruce Bochy.
Mark McGuire on, grounds it foul outside third. The infield shift is on with Damian Jackson after that great leap, shifting over to his right. His partner D'Angelo Jimenez very deep short, and Nevin, as he did on that ground ball 3 innings ago, hugging the line.
Nothing new in the last inning for Bobby Jones. Padres allowing an unearned run to score. 24th unearned run in just 29 starts on the year.
They gave up 4 of them in less than 2 innings in St. Louis last week. 2-1 to McGuire. Off speed pitch, bounced out to short. Jimenez on target for the second out.
You know, you got to give Big Mac a lot of credit, though, for going out there and trying to perform, knowing that his presence in that lineup creates better pitches for the people around him to hit. But he just has had to make so many adjustments because of those leg injuries. He's had to change his swing. He's created some bad habits. Even though those are big, strong arms that he has, he's basically just swinging with his arms.
Well, he said recently, I'll be back next year. And he's told us on several occasions what he wants to do is just battle his way through this season, hopefully help the Cardinals get into postseason play, and then take it healthy from the get-go in 2002. That's what he had hoped to do this season.
You know, I mean, a normal person thinks about trying to get around with just one leg, as he has all year. Try carrying that body around on just one leg.
There goes another flying bat. The ball to shortstop Jimenez, and he gets Renteria by an eyelash at first. 1, 2, 3 for Bobby Jones. He will lead off in the bottom of the 6th, down by 3. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball. We're moving on to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bobby Jones will lead off as he walks to the plate against his rookie counterpart, Bud Smith. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Pitch count very reasonable through 5 at 71. Bobby Jones flied to right first time up, then the top of the order with Ricky Henderson and D'Angelo Jimenez. And the fastball misses away. Seven consecutive batters retired by Bud Smith since the 2-out walk by Ricky Henderson back in the 3rd. He stole second, the only Padre to make it to second base tonight. And the foul tip will even the count 2-2.
Here's another situation here why Padre players enjoy doing what they do for Bruce Bochy so much. Bobby Jones down 3-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. How many guys would send a pinch hitter up there?
Most.
Well, Bochy's saying, you know what, it's not his fault. One of the runs is unearned. He made one mistake in the 1st inning.
Called strike, number 6 for Bud Smith. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. For the most complete Major League Baseball info site on the web, log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Major League Baseball. Connect with it. Ricky Henderson, a walk and a steal. 0 for 1. Big curveball, a slow one right in there.
That's been the difference in him tonight as opposed to 5 days ago when these Padres had their way against him. Getting that off-speed pitch over early, setting it up with a good fastball on the inner half during the middle of the at-bat, and finishing a lot of them with something else off-speed.
The 1-1.
There's the
half swing and a foul.
That's a good fastball on the inner half. At times against the right-handed hitter, he'll put a little finger pressure on the outer half of the baseball, creating a little movement in onto the hands of the right-handed hitter, as he did there with Ricky Henderson. Cut fastball, if you will.
The 1-2 delivery, and he baited him, but Ricky wasn't biting, and he took it outside to even the count.
Who knows the strike zone better than Ricky Henderson?
Well, nobody playing right now. Maybe the 2 best on the same team. Tony Gwynn, who might be the other. The 2-2 outside.
They differed in one respect, though, that Tony Gwynn has a bigger strike zone at which he has more pitches that he can handle than anybody that we've seen in the last 20 years. He can get on top of that high fastball. He can hit the ball 2 inches off the ground.
3-2, high and tight, and Bud Smith has his 3rd walk of the night. And there's a running threat walking down to first base. Ricky's there with 1 out. Jimenez the batter, then Klesko.
I don't know how many times in Ricky's career a manager has given him the stop sign. This would probably be one of them, though. You're down by 3 runs. You're running out of outs. You've only got 11 left. You hope that D'Angelo can get on base, and then the thunder for the Padres would come up with Klesko and Nevin.
Well, maybe this time he says, McGuire, Ricky's hanging around for a while. We'll see. He's hanging around on the first pitch, and suddenly Bud Smith unable to find the strike zone a bit.
He's going to do what Polanco was able to do to Bobby Jones when Bobby fell behind in his at bat against J.D. Drew. Ricky's going to try to distract the youngster, and nobody has been a bigger distraction over the years than Mr. Henderson.
Part of Cardinal lore, the great Lou Brock, who Ricky passed. He was a guy who would arrogantly get on first base and take a big lead and dare you to throw over. That's another ball, and Marrero will go out and talk to his pitcher now. So what's this conversation about, partner?
Well, it's about throwing strikes, and I would imagine Dave Duncan's not far away from coming out and saying the same thing. Marrero has so many tools athletically behind home plate. He's not the mind and the game calling of a guy like Mike Matheny, who is the other catcher, the starting catcher normally for St. Louis.
2-0 the count. High pop up on a 2-0 pitch. Renteria will take it near the bag. Ball sailed on him, and he's got it for the second out. Maybe not what the Padres were looking for on a 2-0 count with a young hitter standing in there, and he pops it straight up.
Well, a lesson for young hitters listening to our broadcast: on a 2-0 or a 3-1 count, if you do not make contact, make sure you're well out in front of that pitch. Don't get jammed or chase a bad pitch as D'Angelo Jimenez did there. I mean, that's why managers give players the green light. 2-0, 3-1 is because they're going to take a good swing. That was not there.
0 for 2 is Klesko. He tried to tee off on a big breaking ball that got away from him. He was swinging literally from the heels there.
All right, Big Mac doesn't count because he's almost unhuman with his strength. But nobody, with the exception of Big Mac, hits the ball any harder or swings any harder than Ryan Klesko.
No balls, 1 strike. I guess when the Padres played the Dodgers and Klesko swings 1/2 inning and Gary Sheffield the next, some air definitely leaves the ballpark on that night.
Pretty amazing about both of those guys that they hit over 300 just about every year as well.
Cardinals have some activity in their bullpen here in the 6th inning. It's another one of their young pitchers who they brought back from injury this year, Luther Hackman. I don't think a no-hitter is on Tony La Russa's mind right now. It's an important ball game in September for his club. Here's the 0-1. Fastball up and away.
But it almost looks like here in the bottom of the 6th inning that no-hitter might be on Bud Smith's mind. I mentioned he had a couple of them last year at the minor league level. All of a sudden starting to really try to pinpoint his location instead of challenging people.
Similar pitch, similar call, and it's 2-1. Looked like Tony tapped his right arm down to his bullpen coach Marty Mason as if to find out if Hackman was ready if needed. He's warming up in earnest down there. That's not a leisurely game of catch. Phil Nevin in mind here maybe if the inning would continue. 2 balls and a strike to Klesko. Swing and a miss as he saw a pitch up and in.
Looks like Ryan Klesko expanding that zone a little bit. What could have been ball 3 ending up being strike 2. And a huge momentum swing for Bud Smith.
18 pitches this inning. He started with 71 through 5. The 2-2 delivery. Ricky going. High fly ball right field. J.D. Drew. It's foul. It's in the bullpen. And he's got it right up against the rail. A tricky little configuration of those seats down there. And J.D. Drew played it like a player who is in right field here all the time. Nicely done. Padres gone, and we go top 7. Still no hits for San Diego. Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego on Labor Day night. A no-hitter through 6 for Bud Smith. First pitch to Phil Nevin, out of play right side. This will be a very difficult inning for the rookie pitcher, Bubba Trammell, next, and then the left-hander Ray Lankford. Nevin 0 for 2 with a grounder and a fly. 8 fly balls, 4 grounders, 6 strikeouts for Bud Smith tonight. High fly, playable for J.D. Drew in right field. That's how the bottom of the 7th gets underway. The Home Depot in-game box for the Padres will show us very little other than 3 walks, 2 with Ricky Henderson, 1 with Ray Lankford, and absolutely 0 base hits.
Really, the hardest hit ball tonight was the ball Lankford lined out to left field with to start the bottom of the 5th inning.
The first pitch ball to Bubba Trammell. He has grounded out and struck out. And tonight is the 4th time this season the Padres have been hitless through 6 innings at the plate. They've had some nights when they just haven't been able to hit or score. More on the shutout situation later, if it comes to that in the 9th inning. 4-0 Cardinals right now in the 7th. And it's just off the plate inside, ball 2. Well hit left field. Will the first hit be a home run? No. Pujols is there, right up against the wall for the 2nd out here in the 7th. Trammell a little bit short of his 21st home run.
As you get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, physically you're going to start to fatigue. So mentally you have to get better. You could see Eli Marrero sitting down and away for that changeup. The location was not there. The first changeup really that has been elevated tonight by Bud Smith.
Ray Lankford a swing and a miss. What an interesting situation this is. The ex-Cardinal in there.
The key to a complete game is that at the end of the game, the last 3 innings, you get better mentally. Your location gets better. Your thinking process has to improve along with it.
Fastball off the belt inside. Lankford a walk and a fly ball to left. Traded by the Cardinals 3 weeks ago for Woody Williams, and it's on the outside corner.
It's all about showing him inside, getting him out of the way. He has done that now for 6 2/3 of an inning.
Lankford with an inside out swing.
The location is starting to slip a little bit. You see where Marrero was sitting up. He reached back to the heart of the zone. Really a good pitch for Lankford to hit that he did not.
The 1-2 way upstairs. Ray Lankford is one of the quickest bats in the National League. If you throw him down and in, he drops the bat head as well as anybody. The count's 2-2. That ball too far inside for Ray to hit it fair. Bud Smith over the 100 pitch mark. He's at 102 right now, and he's thrown about 60% strikes. It seems like a lot more than that. Lankford barely stays alive.
A lot easier to throw the 104 pitches that Bud has thrown tonight than it was in his last outing when he had to throw 94 pitches in only 3 1/3.
Isn't that something? Same teams, same pitcher 1 week later.
A little confusion there on the location. That was supposed to be a fastball. Smith thought Marrero was going to move away. When he moved in, wisely the youngster stepped off the mound.
Got him on the corner with a fastball. How about that for location? 7 no-hit innings by Bud Smith. Four nothing Cardinals into the bottom of the 8th inning, and following our game tonight on ESPN, let's give them something to talk about. It's baseball tonight. Carl Ravitch and Peter Gammons, and then following baseball tonight, Stuart Scott, Linda Cohn for Sports Center. And maybe this game will be highlighted on both of those shows. We shall see.
I guarantee you baseball tonight has their eyes on us.
Cardinals have some defensive changes here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll update you on those in a moment. Ben Davis, ground ball, one hopper, Polanco. He's down to 5 outs remaining. That was Pujols catching that throw. He's now at first base, and Tony Gwynn will be the pinch hitter. Rick Sutcliffe, what is Bud Smith thinking right now with all this ovation going on?
He's probably thinking about that baseball he has in his hand. If he could find a pin, he'd love to have Tony Gwynn's autograph on it. But once that thought clears, he's going to try to figure out how to get him out.
Well, ball one.
And if he does, he's going to figure out something that none of the rest of us could.
This is some moment in San Diego now. One hopper, Renteria's got it. He'll throw out Tony Gwynn. 2 outs in the 8th. And another pinch hitter will be Wiki Gonzalez.
You can talk about the over 3,000 hits for Tony Gwynn in his career, but you can't forget to mention how many times he did exactly what he did there. He hit a rocket that he just happened to hit at somebody.
Bud Smith taking 2 pitches to dispose of Tony Gwynn, who had a good hack. Here's the right-handed hitting catcher, Wiki Gonzalez. Bases empty, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. And for a moment, Phil Cousy gave it a little body English, but he didn't pull the trigger for strike 1. Smith missing inside. That's on the inside corner.
You know, Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan are a little bit concerned with the pitch count. This will be 110 on the night for young Bud Smith, but he does it so effortlessly. No wasted movement in those mechanics. Everything simple, everything out in front. Very little pressure on that shoulder and elbow. Starting to breathe a little bit harder, though, than he was earlier.
2 balls and a strike. It's in the dirt, ball 3. Cardinal workhorse Steve Klein, busiest pitcher in the National League, warming up. Here's the 3-1. Ground ball. Caught by Polanco. The no-hitter goes into the 9th inning. A 1-2-3-8 for Bud Smith. St. Louis 4-0. Unbelievable 9th inning coming up. Bud Smith started his night by striking out Ricky Henderson. He's walked Ricky twice. He walked Ray Langford in the 2nd. Not a single San Diego hit. St. Louis leads 4-0, bottom of the 9th inning, as Bud Smith tries to become another Cardinal rookie to throw a no-hitter. Jose Jimenez 2 years ago, June, did it in Arizona.
Ricky Henderson's the all-time stolen base leader. He has one of those tonight. He passed Babe Ruth in career base on balls all-time in Major League history. He's got 2 of those tonight. He's only around for 2 more reasons. He wants to finish his career with more runs scored than Ty Cobb. He needs 12 for that, and he wants to get to 3,000 hits. He's 18 hits shy of being the 25th member in baseball history to do that.
First pitch, bottom of the 9th, high, ball 1. Bud Smith has mixed his fastball, breaking ball, and outstanding changeup beautifully tonight. His longest outing as a major leaguer. That's a strike on the inside corner. Came into this game with a 3-2 record, a 4.30 ERA in 12 big league appearances, 10 of those starts. Inside target. It's on the inside corner, strike 2. Henderson doesn't like the call of Phil Cousy.
Well, he's been so consistent all night. You cannot blame Phil Cousy if he gives him a little bit on the inner half. That still looked like a pretty good pitch. Ricky not happy with it. The crowd not happy with it.
There's that changeup, low and away, ball 2. Cardinal bullpen ready if needed. Right-hander Dave Veers. Left-hander Steve Klein.
Ricky's not gone for that changeup all night. He struck out looking in his first at bat, the first inning, on that fastball in. Smith may have to repeat that pitch to get him.
He does. Got it up a little bit, and Ricky fouled it off to the right side.
Going to have to be on the inner half of the plate. Ricky's diving, taking the outer half away. Where your concern comes is that physically you're at your lowest level right now. Do you have enough velocity left to get in on that inside part of the plate? We're going to find out right here.
Broken bat grounder. Renteria's got it. 1 out. Jammed him beautifully. And next up, the youngster D'Angelo Jimenez. Ryan Klesko will step to the on-deck circle. Bud Smith has retired 17 of the last 18 batters.
You know the adrenaline is there for Bud Smith. The velocity was there as well. 86 miles an hour on that last fastball. That's his norm.
Backdoor breaking ball for strike 1. Inside target. Fastball low. Tony La Russa's team in a pennant race. Trying to gain ground on Houston, who lost today. Trying to stay close in the wild card race. And now this. Strike 2 on the foul.
Such a tough position for a manager. A career high. This will be the 122nd pitch of the night for Bud Smith. If you leave him out there too long and he hurts himself as a manager, you'll never forgive yourself. But how do you take him out of this?
1-2 delivery. There's that changeup, and he missed outside with it. Ball 2.
I might see if the home plate umpire might expand with me a little bit. Give me a little bit on that outer half of the plate as far as the fastball is concerned.
Another changeup, and the count goes full 3-2. Ryan Klesko next. And if there's not a 1-2-3 inning, Phil Nevin, their big right-handed slugger, would bat in this inning. The 3-2 inside, ball 4. Didn't miss by much. Bud Smith with his 4th walk of the night. And now, barring a double play, Nevin bats here in the 9th.
He didn't miss by much, but the problem for Bud Smith is that it took 7 pitches in that at bat, and you don't record the out that you need.
Ryan Klesko 3 for 3 against Bud Smith in St. Louis last week. 0 for 3 tonight. Runner goes, pitch high, ball 1. And Jimenez down to second with 1 out.
You have to do that if you're the Padres, to stay out of the possible double play. They're not going to hold him on. You can't stay there at first.
Outside, ball 2. And really, for the first time tonight, Bud Smith laboring a bit. There was a big sequence in the 6th. He had just walked Ricky Henderson. He went 2-0 on Jimenez, who swung and popped it up. And then Bud's been in cruise control ever since. The 2-0 way outside, ball 3.
Klesko 0 for 3 tonight off of Bud Smith, but just 5 days ago he was 3 for 3 with a towering home run when these two teams hooked up.
Right after we're done here, baseball tonight, we'll hear from Bud Smith. The 3-1 to Klesko. Breaking ball on the inside corner. Klesko gave up on it. It came back and nipped the edge of the plate, and the count goes full.
That completely changes the approach of Ryan Klesko in this at bat. What a big pitch. Probably the best pitch of the night by the kid.
3-2. Ground ball. Shortstop. Tough play. Renteria. 2 down. A tough short hop on the backhand side. It'll be Bud Smith and Phil Nevin with the final out sitting there.
Carp, as we said earlier, just 24 hours ago, Phil Nevin ended the no-hit bid by Randy Johnson. He got a base hit up the middle in the bottom of the 6th inning with 2 outs. There's 2 outs, but it's the bottom of the 9th now.
21-year-old from Torrance, California, Bud Smith, Cardinal rookie. And the hitter, the dangerous Phil Nevin, who's 0 for 3 tonight. That's a fastball up and away. May have been over the corner of the plate, but a little low, and it's ball 2. Marrero set up inside. I'll tell you, this young battery has worked together wonderfully tonight. Now the count's 2-0. Change up, a swing and a miss. Had him way out in front.
You've got to get smarter as you get deeper into the ball game because physically you weaken. What a pitch. 3-1, the breaking ball to Klesko. 2-0, the changeup to Nevin.
Ground ball. Bud Smith's got it. No-hitter for another Cardinal rookie. He threw 2 7-inning no-hitters in the minor leagues. In the big leagues, his rookie year, his 4th major league win, a no-hitter on the road in a pennant race on Labor Day.
What a tremendous job of fielding his position to get that no-hitter. He had to make the pitch and he had to make the play to make it happen. This ball would have been a base hit up the middle. Phil Nevin would have broken up the 2nd no-hitter that he has done in the last 2 days. But what a play by Bud Smith. Here it is. It's the changeup down and away. He made the pitch he wanted, but look at it. There it is. He flinched to begin with. The ball came up. The glove was there, and Bud Smith a part of history.
The 2 rookies hugging, Pujols, then Marrero. And right there in his glove, the no-hitter. A little toss to Pujols. And the 3rd Cardinal rookie to throw a no-hitter. Paul Dean did it in 1934, Dizzy's little brother. Jose Jimenez at Arizona 2 years ago. And Bud Smith here in San Diego. That's Rick Ankiel with the warm-up. Mark McGwire behind him. Final score, 4-0 St. Louis. Bud Smith, the no-hitter. Baseball tonight coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Rick Sutcliffe and our entire ESPN crew, this is Bob Carpenter saying good night from San Diego. Hats off to Bud Smith.